Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another YouTube exclusive right here for the Arnold's podcast. Now, guys, one of the promotions we always love working with is Pro Wrestling Magic. It happened in March 25th at the Mecca, 106 Bergen Avenue, Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. Pro Wrestling Magic presents Jump Around, of course, the continuing the trend of 90s themed songs. And the guy behind it all is joining us this afternoon, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Steve Off. Steve, how you doing today?
You're far too kind. I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing good, hanging in there, but definitely looks like a very loaded card that you guys have for this show.
Yeah. It's easier to load the deck with dope matches when you're going with like 6 or 7 or 8 matches instead of like 10 or 12.
Oh, no, I totally agree. The first match I want to get to, actually, we'll see Danny Moff take on Steve Pena. Now, obviously, Steve Pena still holds the keys to the kingdom.
Right.
Danny Moff is still somebody who's still in that main event scene. Obviously,
Right.
Vargas there as well, as he won the Chase Adams Battle Royal back in January. I can't forget my months now all of a sudden. And you got Kerr. In your opinion, how important of would it be for either of these guys to position themselves to possibly get a shot at Kerr down the road?
Well, I mean, a win is always important in any match, and this is a huge match that is going to steal the show. But I mean, Moff already has a guaranteed title shot when he defeated my former tag partner Alex Ryman in a war at our last event. Pena, like you mentioned, has the keys to the kingdom. Vargas is laying in wait. He won the Chad Adams Rumble, so Kerr's got quite a lineup coming for him.
Which is why for this one, it's like if I'm Kerr right now, I'm just sitting there with my head on a swivel, going, "Okay, I can have it be coming from Moff, from Pena, from Vargas." But then you've got other guys who are in that main event scene right now who could be staking their name down the road.
Yeah, Dark STG, that match ended in disqualification. He was not pinned. I'm sure he's looking for a rematch eventually.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, Vargas and Pena and Moff, and momentum is important. So while I understand neither one needs a win to get a championship match, they both are entitled to one. But momentum is important. So especially with a guy like Kerr, you don't want to go in cold against him. You don't want to go in, after getting your ass kicked in a banger, losing, and stepping right up to him. I wouldn't. It's not a smart strategy.
Well, that's why I said this match I think is important for both of them because you said it before.
Yeah.
They're both guaranteed a title shot, but I mean you see it in sports so much that team that goes on that momentum becomes unstoppable.
Yeah. It's like
okay.
Like you'd see in old school Ring of Honor, which I'm a huge fan of, that they would line up a lot of the top 10 or 20 guys for title shots on all of their events, which we don't have more than one, maybe two, sometimes a month. So it's not really possible to do.
Yeah.
But a lot of those guys didn't have momentum. They were just really good. They were one of the top 10 or 20, and they'd get beat. They'd put on a banger performance, but they'd get beat. So that's why momentum is important. Momentum is, I wouldn't say it's everything, but it's the main thing. You can't fake momentum.
No, but it also works out good for Kerr because the one thing that with Kerr, it's not like he's sitting there with the title going, okay, I have nobody up to my level.
Right.
He really has to show when you're the champion, and especially in a situation like Kerr is in right now, he really has to show that he's worthy enough to hold the belt. When you got guys, like I said before, you got guys like Vargas, guys like Moff, and guys like Pena, well, let's call a spade here. They're not tiny people.
No. And while he's 0-1 in singles competition, I'm sure that Chris Barton, El Unico, is probably looking to add his name to the list.
Oh, more than likely.
Which, not too far-fetched. You get 1 or 2 big wins, and a big guy like that,
I would just say put them in a fatal 4-way and hope the ring can withstand the 4 of them. I'm just saying.
That is a great way to ensure that I'll have to buy a new ring.
Well, moving on now, we got a tag title match as Death Row will be taking on the team of the Rep. Sorry, I just couldn't see it for a second. What are your thoughts going into this match?
That's another one I don't want to have to follow. As you know, Smiley has the book right now and is making these matches and the order. I would hope he positions me before them, but who the hell knows? Man, I love tag team wrestling. There's not much more to say about that. That is the tag team dream match right now in Pro Wrestling Magic. You see the Rep, they have a pretty busy schedule, but when it allows, they come in and they kick ass. But Death Row's been kicking ass just about every event.
Oh yeah.
A lot of disqualifications because tempers and whatnot, but bangers and kicking ass. And
Oh,
that's the reps MO too. So how do you pick a winner in that? You can just let them fight and figure it out.
oh, I totally agree. I mean, we saw the I guess you could say the path that Death Row took to get the titles, having to go through Espados Unidos. It felt like for majority of 2022.
Yeah, the chase was quite long but exciting. So, I'm glad for them. I like those guys. I'm glad they finally got their shot. And they had a short title run before, but now they've had them for just as long as they did the first time. So I'm hoping, titles or not, they just keep mowing people down. It's good for business.
Oh yeah, of course. You got those two in the ring, and with how their attitude is, yeah, I can see that. But we're also going to have some of the ladies of Pro Wrestling Magic in action, as Rebecca Scott will take on the Notorious Mimi in a fast pass match. So, what's your thoughts going into this one?
Smiley, just have me open the show, brother. That's it. This is another one that, Rebecca Scott's a good friend of mine. We used to train together. She moved on to different things, and I'm still kind of training where I can, when I can with my schedule. But no, a very good person, very cool, very chill, great performer. And Notorious Mimi, I don't really know as well, but same thing, great performer. And they're two great competitors that are just, that match has never happened before. This is the first time ever.
Oh, wow.
And the winner gets a future title shot at a show to be determined. How do you get bigger stakes than that? First time ever, title shot on the line. Like, who wants it more?
And I was lucky enough to be there when she debuted. Debuted at Magic. And I actually want to get to that show in a second, but I just want to finish up with the matches that we have here.
Sure.
Next match we actually got here is actually a match involving you.
This beautiful face, right? Well, but yeah, involving me.
Taking on Chase James. So I guess I'll ask you the real question. What's your thoughts going into this match?
So I threw down the gauntlet, at least for the first couple title defenses. I said, I only want guys who've never had a shot at being a champion or have never been a champion in Pro Wrestling Magic. Could be superstars elsewhere, but I want new blood. I want to show that I'm not only the best on our roster, because I've beaten the majority of our roster, respectfully, as Lala would say. But I've already done that. I want people from outside. Doesn't mean I won't go back to fighting guys with the Magic. As you saw post-show at our last event, we had a little press conference and Smiley stepped up to me, and I'm not backing down from anyone. I understand he's been a champion, but he's never been the Dark Arts champion. So I guess we can let that one slide by when he's ready. But Chase James is a hell of a competitor. Going to be a slugfest. He can wrestle too, so it's going to be a challenge, but I'm ready for it.
And going through the matches we've gone through already, I really hope you guys open, because I don't know how you guys are going to try to top any of the matches.
Just a whole lot of meat slapping, bro. That's it. That's all we got.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And then we also got the Tri-Wizards championship on the line, as Prolific takes on the Lost Boys, which I remember when the Lost Boys debuted, I guess you could call it, or had that run in. God, was that Halloween weekend when they first?
Yeah, or the weekend before or after, I forget, but it was definitely the Halloween themed show. And they are big fans of Nightmare Before Christmas, apparently. Which, hey, me too. But I mean, that movie is probably older than all those kids combined. Maybe I don't know.
More than likely.
At least, definitely all of them individually. And they kind of got killed by Death Row, but I mean, they're here. So it's the thing of, okay, well, you got past Death Row. Congratulations. So now we're going to put you into deeper waters with Prolific. Yeah, and RTB defeated the Lost Boys at our New Milford High School event, but Prolific has made it clear they want both teams. Lost Boys were given the luck of the draw to go first. I'm assuming that's a Smiley call. He likes to play mind games, and I don't know. I've given up trying to figure that guy out. So, Lost Boys go first, and then RTB get the winners in April, I believe. Man, I don't know. I don't know who can win. I mean, I would go with Prolific just because they have the experience, but Lost Boys have shown me a lot of growth in their talent in a little bit of time. So, I don't know. I mean, even if they don't win with a little more time, I would think that's in their future.
Hey, hopefully they don't get lost. I had to put it out there.
As a dad, I can appreciate that.
I had to put it out there. Now, obviously, there's going to be two other females in action that day hasn't been advertised.
Yeah.
Ruthless Lala and JC Storm. But I want to
Right.
look at what's been going on behind the scenes.
Mm.
Because was it the last show, the New Milford show, where Lala got attacked?
That was 2 shows ago, but yes, that was in Milford. That was last month. We had 2 shows last month. Never again in the same market. But I mean, they both wound up doing okay. They would have done better if we would have maybe spread it out or run a different market twice. I don't know. But yeah, Lala was assaulted. I found her on the ground. Went and got prolific. And I don't know.
So now, obviously, it's the mystery assailant. It's the oldest storyline in professional wrestling.
Right.
That's been going on since the dawn of time.
Yeah.
Are fans who go to the show on the 25th going to sort of get an answer here?
Well, I'm sure we don't just abandon our stories, even if and I think this one's going great. I think their promos have been gold.
Oh yeah.
Even if it wasn't, we'd still see it to an end because I always hated that. Back in the day, I'm not shit talking any promotion, but every promotion has done this, where an angle just isn't working and they just stop it.
Because
I mean, you can rush to an end, but you can't just that never happened. Why? What do you? There are people watch this shit every week. What are you doing? But but yeah, I like where it's going, and we'll see.
Hey, like I said, that's one thing I like with pro wrestling is you never know what you're gonna expect. But honestly, looking at this card, I mean, I give you guys credit. The last couple of shows you guys have had, even going back towards the end of 2022, have all been stellar cards, especially. And actually, talking about the end of 2022, I'm going to go to that one quickly because I happened to be in the building that day for that show, which was the Kingdom Come show, and I've said this then, I'll say this again, probably one of the greatest top to down independent wrestling shows I'd ever been to.
Thank you. And that was a long work in progress with my OCD with every single detail. And a few things changed, but it worked. But I'd agree with you. And objectively, I've watched it back. I've seen things we can improve on, obviously, but I appreciate that because that was my thing. It was sink or swim. Our big comeback, if you will, from COVID. If that show failed, we were done.
Yeah,
we were dead in the water. Like we could have afforded to run shows still, but it would have been done. But the fact that show went well, had a decent house at the very least, around 200 or so, which isn't great, but man, compared to where we were with 60 max for COVID, pretty good jump. Pretty good jump.
But I mean, that whole card, I mean, you had guys, if you haven't had a chance to go watch it, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go to iwtv.com and go watch it because
promo code magic if you're not a member already.
Yeah, let's mention that part. But definitely, I highly recommend, especially with the opening match of Marchh versus Kerr for the title. I thought those guys almost killed each other. I still think they're scraping Marchh off the floor as we speak. I mean, you had Donovan and Pacifico in a match, which, again, I still think they're scraping Donovan off the floor after he took the ladder spot in that one. But, I mean, you look at that. I mean, even your whole match with Alex Ryman.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it like that moment having a live band play your intro?
That was bucket list for me, and that's the first time I've ever had that in 20 years, which is next month, technically my 20-year anniversary, but, just about 20 years. First time. That was bucket list for me. I had no intention of ever closing or main eventing Kingdom Come or even being a singles champion of Magic.
Yeah.
The story fit, so we went with it. It was circumstantial, not something we planned. That was never supposed to be the main eventer for the belt. We were supposed to be semi-main, but then Kerr and Marchh wanted to start the show hot, so I was like, well, all right. I'm gonna have to follow that. Great.
Well, I remember being in the audience that day, and they opened up with Kerr and Marchh, and I'm like, okay, what the hell? Because in my head, again, I don't come off as being somebody who's in the ring or in the industry, so to speak. I'll say that to it. I'll say that forever. But I look at this as, I'm a fan, but I'm almost a smart fan, almost, I guess you could say it, to an extent in certain aspects.
Right. But you start with that match, and it's like, okay, great. That was a banger. Now what?
Yeah.
I get you.
How can you top that? And then you had Donovan and Pacifico. And it's like, okay, where the hell are they going from here? And then it was you and Ryman, and I'm like, yeah, I think it was the perfect match to close out the show, to be honest.
I think emotion wise and story wise, and I think we delivered too. Although I was exhausted toward the end and blown the hell up.
Oh, I
You could tell. You could tell. The last like 4 or 5 minutes, I was done.
yeah,
I was just going on fumes and instinct and pure spite and fucking rage.
like I
How I
said,
live my life.
I look this way. That whole show, up to top to bottom, I thought was great. And then obviously, we all know what happened. Smiley ends up becoming the GM and decides to make every show of 2023 a memento towards the 90s.
Yeah, so far. I mean, they're all one hit wonders. So far, it's all 90s. I don't know if it's all going to be 90s or if it's going to be 80s and 90s. I'm not sure. But I mean, I agree with that choice.
Hey, it's something different.
Yeah.
It's something different. But I also want to get into, because not only do you have that stuff coming up, but you also have some matches coming up as well. Or at least that I think are coming up. I'm not too sure.
Well, I have one for this Saturday that unfortunately got canceled due to some kind of issue. I don't know. Gen Pro Wrestling. They've been really cool so far. So I'm hoping it's a one-off thing. I'm friends with management, so I was in the main event for the heavyweight title.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming I will get another shot at their next event. I mean, I guess we'll see. I got a couple SWF and Titan bookings coming up, which I'll post on my social media. I got, it's March 25th at the Mecca, Pro Wrestling Magic. And then April 21st, SWF, and April 22nd, Pro Wrestling Magic, both at the Mecca, Richfield Park. And then April 29th, I'm making my return to Titan because we finally have a date that clicked. They've tried to book me for their last three, and I was on my own events. So I can't really miss that, you know. Trust Smiley to an extent, but he can't run that by himself. Like,
well, I'll say this much: I was lucky enough to see you at the last time, not the monsoon show.
Right.
When you took on Blaze Haram, and I said it then, the storytelling you two guys had in that match was. I said it to the friend of mine who I was with, and I was like, "Yeah, we're getting Steve off and Haram too. It's gonna happen.
We gotta." And it will be the third. We've had two matches already, and he's won both. But you know, by hook or by crook, there's no excuses. But I feel like I have got a little something to prove, not so much to myself or to the fans, but to Blaze that. You know, there's lines you don't cross. You don't go after people's mentors, and you know, you don't use a second to help you win a match. You beat me or you don't. You win or lose like a man. But I mean, it is what it is. So I want that championship. I want that Mofi TV American Championship, and it's going to be mine. It's a matter of when, not if. Yeah, I'm belt collecting, bro. Like, I'm hoping I'll have a bunch at once, like Ultimo. I'll have that pick with me. Matt Cardona recreated it. I'm a big fan of his work, by the way. He recreated it. So if I could be the third guy to do that, or, you know, there's probably been a bunch of other assholes that did it, but like, you know, I think that'd be cool.
But there hasn't been one Steve off yet.
No, there's only been one Steve off, and everybody knows. And if you go to prowrestlingtees.com/Steve off, by the time this airs, everyone knows you can't beat Steve off.
Yeah.
As in, you can't defeat me or pin me or submit me. Yeah, that's one of those things that I didn't think we'd get over. It was a joke, starting by, you know, one of the trainees that's starting to wrestle now, Jerry Outcast, and he just said, "Hey man, you're a great wrestler. Nobody could beat Steve off." And I'm just like, okay, that's funny. And he kept saying it, so people in the crowd started saying it. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll make a T-shirt. Screw it.
Yeah, and obviously knowing Jerry like I do, yeah, I once I saw the post, I'm like, of course it has to be Jerry.
He's a funny guy. He's going to do all right. Maybe. I mean, hopefully. If nothing else, he'll at least pop the boys and stick around.
Oh yeah,
I think he's going to do okay long term.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But again, I mean, you have a lot coming up right now, and it's, you know, I'm proud of what you've accomplished.
Thank you, man.
I'm proud, and believe me, I mean, you know what we've been through, so it's.
Yeah. I've been through a lot of trauma myself. Don't tell me you're proud of me again. I'm gonna fucking cry on the air. No, I appreciate it though, man. It's always been a good time. Always enjoyed, you know, talking to you, whether it's Messenger or at the shows or on here.
Yeah.
Big stuff coming up. So we'll see where everything goes. May is gonna be pretty busy. So April's a little slower because no one wants to run Mania weekend. I'm working on something for the 14th, 15th. and see if I can get something done.
And
See where it goes.
Like I said, I think you also have the anniversary show coming up soon for Magic.
Yeah, our April 22nd event that I was telling you about, that is our anniversary event. 8 years.
That I'll definitely
8 years.
That I'll definitely be at. I'll definitely
cool.
Definitely be at.
Good to hear, because that one's going to be can't miss. I mean, they're all can't miss to some extent, but that one, I've been like I OCD perfected Kingdom Come. I've been doing the same thing with that, and with June. May is a good one too, but that's kind of an in between.
Yeah.
But man, don't miss that.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to be back in the kingdom again. I'll be honest with you, straightforward, and obviously, with everything, I kind of miss being in that building.
Come through, man.
It's been a couple months, but Steve, again, I appreciate you hopping on.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me. Thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely. And guys, March 25th, it all goes down. Jump around, 106 Burgundy Avenue. Get your tickets are still available.
Sure, if you want to give us money, we'll take it.
I don't want to say tickets are available.
PWMtickets.com. That is PWMtickets.com. They are discounted by $10 automatically, no promo code needed. They will go up in price at the door, including front row, which will probably be gone by then. So buy your tickets in advance.
And guys, you're not going to want to miss it. We just went over the card before. And I mean, the fact that you got Danny Moff on this card, I mean, that to me is a reason to go to the show. But also
got Azrael, another indie legend on the card. That's one match we forgot to hit on. I just remembered. Azrael, Alex Ryman, and Vinny Pacifico triple threat for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. That was just announced yesterday. So, another banger. So,
and also, don't miss this be on IWTV?
This will also be on IWTV if you really can't make it down, but you should definitely try to make it down.
Oh, yeah.
Also on IWTV, it starts at 6 p.m. Promo code MAGIC if you haven't joined yet.
Absolutely, definitely. And that will all be in the description below, right in this video when this video goes up. So again, Steve, thank you so much for hopping on. I appreciate it. And definitely looking forward to having you on again as you get closer towards the anniversary show. And we go from there.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. And we'd love to come back. Just got to make them dates work and them times work. We'll figure it out.
Absolutely. But for Steve Wolf, and again, nobody can beat Steve Wolf. I just had to put that in there. I'm John.
No, it doesn't work there.
I'm John. This has been another YouTube exclusive for the Unknowns podcast. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.